Hello and welcome to the L.T.L. Tutoring Central video series. My name is Ron and today I'm talking about compound sentences. Last week I talked about simple sentences, and if you really understood what simple sentences are, you're going to find compound sentences relatively simple to conquer. So let's just get right into it and talk about compound sentences. Compound sentences are really just simple sentences joined together or stuck together in some way. Now, there are certain rules, wouldn't you know it, that you have to follow, or certain conventions for combining or joining simple sentences. But by definition, a compound sentence is two or more simple sentences joined together to create one sentence. Now, they are sometimes joined by a coordinating conjunction, and there are only 7 of those. And they're sometimes joined by a conjunctive adverb or a transitional expression, and there's lots and lots of those. But not to worry, we're going to look at how to create these sentences, joining them with coordinating conjunctions and conjunctive adverbs and coordinating conjunctions in the next couple of slides with some examples. And you can always look up lists of conjunctive adverbs or transitional expressions if you want to mix it up a little bit. So let's look at how we're going to put these sentences together and create some compound sentences. So first we're looking at joining sentences by a coordinating conjunction, and here are the 7: and, but, or, nor, for, so, and yet. And remember the other video we said fanboys? You can use that to remind yourself of the 7 coordinating conjunctions. Here in our first example, we have Ao loves raisin pie and he eats it every chance he gets. So you have 2 simple sentences. Ao loves raisin pie, and the second simple sentence is he eats it every chance he gets. And we've joined it with and. In the second example, we have the weather was rainy, but the soccer game was still played. So we've joined 2 simple sentences with the coordinating conjunction but. The weather was rainy, and then the other sentence, the soccer game was still played. So these are 2 complete sentences. They both have subjects and they both have predicates. They could stand as independent clauses, or in other words, full sentences. So remember, that was the definition of a simple sentence. A punctuation note: use a comma before the coordinating conjunction. Now this is only if you're joining 2 independent clauses, or in other words, 2 complete sentences, 2 complete simple sentences. You would not do that if one of these was a dependent clause. Let's look at some compound sentences that are joined by a conjunctive adverb. And I've given a few examples, but there are lots and lots of conjunctive adverbs. But here I put some that I think are very useful. So you'll be able to get started right away. So we have consequently, furthermore, however, instead, meanwhile, moreover, nevertheless, otherwise, then, therefore, and thus. And if you're looking for more, you can always find lists of them online. Just do a search for conjunctive adverbs. In our first example, we have Nahom does very well in math. However, he has problems with fractions. So you see we have 2 simple sentences. Nahom does very well in math. I could just put a period there. And he has problems with fractions is also a simple sentence, and we've joined them with the conjunctive adverb, however. In the second example, Jane has the largest vehicle, therefore she will drive everyone to the airport. So the first sentence, Jane has the largest vehicle, I could just put a period there, and that would be a complete simple sentence or an independent clause. And similarly, for the second half, she will drive everyone to the airport, just put a capital on she, and we have another simple sentence or another independent clause. We've just joined them with a conjunctive adverb, therefore. And another punctuation note here: for these, you would normally put a semicolon before and a comma after the conjunctive adverb. That's how you would punctuate these. Again, if you have independent clauses being joined together. And I also didn't give any examples where there were 3 simple sentences joined together. You can start to get too many, and sentences can get a little wobbly or a little out of control. So I only gave examples with 2, but you can do 3, and even more sometimes. You just have to make sure that they are really closely related and that you punctuate them properly so that they don't fall apart on you. Now here are a couple of examples of compound sentences joined by a transitional expression, and I just put a few examples, for example, as a matter of fact, and in other words. But you can find other transitional expressions as well. Basically, it's anything that's going to link the 2 simple sentences together. So in example 1, we have, there are many ways to save electricity. For example, you can turn the lights off when you are not in a room. And the second one, Sid is an excellent hockey player. As a matter of fact, he is the best player on the team. And the punctuation note is the same as the previous slide with conjunctive adverbs. You would normally put a semicolon before and a comma after the transitional expression if you're joining 2 independent clauses or 2 complete sentences. So you'll notice Sid is an excellent hockey player. That could just be a complete sentence by itself. And I could also say he is the best player on the team. He would be the subject and is the best player on the team would be the predicate. So that would be a complete sentence by itself. But it's good to use, as I mentioned in last week's video, a variety of sentences. So we don't want all simple sentences, we don't want all compound sentences, we don't want all complex sentences, and we don't want all compound complex sentences. We want to mix them up a little bit in our writing, particularly if you're writing something longer, because it makes it much more interesting to the reader and it helps with the flow. So one more note here about compound sentences. Make sure that your compound sentence contains at least 2 subject-verb combinations. It can have more, but it has to have at least 2 to be a compound sentence. You can break these into simple sentences by removing the connection, which could be the coordinating conjunction, or the conjunctive adverb, or the transitional expression. And I've more or less done that orally as we've gone through the slides, but I've shown it here where we've taken a couple of the sentences we've already done, and then underneath I have put the separate sentences. Io loves raisin pie. He eats it every chance he gets. Or Jane has the largest vehicle. She will drive everyone to the airport. But just make sure that you have at least 2 subject-verb combinations. If you don't, you may have a complex sentence instead of a compound sentence, which is fine if it's constructed correctly. Hi, back again in visual form, and I just wanted to give you some contact information, but also thank you for watching the video. I hope you learned a little bit about compound sentences. I'm going to put a link below the video. If you're watching it on YouTube, you should be able to see the link. If you're watching it somewhere else, you might not, but you can always check the website. The links I'll put below. I'll put a link to the website, of course, and I'll put a link to a basic English writing course that you can do primarily on your own, and a paragraph writing course that you can also do primarily on your own. There's also an essay writing course. I'm going to give you discounts, coupons for all of these courses, but on the website, and also I'll put an extra link for personalized paragraph writing lessons. These are directed more toward you, and they are a little more expensive, but they are well worth it to get that feedback from me. Yours truly. So would be like your own private tutor, and we could work together. So I hope you'll take advantage of some of those courses. You could try out one of the asynchronous courses, in other words, the course that you do on your own, and then later try one that you work more directly with me if you like. So there's the contact information, Tutoring Central, www.tutoringcentral.com for the website, and tutoringcentral@hotmail.com for my email. And yeah, look for the individual writing programs that are available. And I offer a free information meeting. Almost forgot to mention it. I'm just looking at my own screen here. And yeah, free information meeting, very helpful. Get to know me. I can get to know you. And then you can decide whether you'd like to go forward with one of my other courses. There are many courses available, or programs, lessons I make just for you, and we can meet on Skype or Zoom. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation today about compound sentences. Keep writing, keep having fun. Don't get bogged down in the technical details. Once you start to know them, you won't be thinking about all these terms anymore. You'll just be writing more automatically and only occasionally having to think about the specific terminology. So have fun writing, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.